They've been lying to you about content. Everyone keeps saying, just post more, stay consistent, and clients will come. But if that were true, your calendar would already be packed, right?
The reality is you can post every day, even go viral, and still not sign a single client. I know someone who had his TikTok hit 1 million views and got 0 new clients from it. So stick around, because posting for the algorithm is the fastest way to burn yourself out without ever booking a single call. And I can prove it.
The truth is, it's not your content that's broken, it's the model. And once you see the missing piece, you'll understand exactly why your views aren't turning into appointments yet.
Hey everyone, Rob Souza here. Welcome back to another episode of the Digital Advisor Weekly, where we cut through the noise of online marketing and let's get real about what actually drives traffic onto your calendar. Each week, we're going to take one topic, one of the biggest challenges that we find in digital marketing for financial advisors, and we are going to break it down for you and talk about root causes and then show you a system that can actually fix it. So no fluff, no gimmicks, just strategies that you can apply that will work today. And today's topic is probably the most important topic of all, because we're talking about broken content model. And we've all experienced it. See, almost everyone has been stuck in this at one point or another. You know, the one endless posting, chasing views, praying for engagement, only to end up with an empty calendar. I know, it's frustrating. It's exhausting. And it's the reason so many brilliant creators throw in the towel. And if they can afford it, they'll resort to traditional advertising for an event or some online tool that will provide you blind leads. Why blind? Because you paid to buy a lead that was attracted by a tool or some sort of information, not you. You're a total stranger to them when you call. That's why we call it blind. I know you've all experienced it. And I'm hoping that you're ready to get off of the advertising hamster wheel so you can put your money into better places. Here's the secret. There's a simple system that flips this entire game on its head. And once you see it, you'll never look at creating content the same way again.
Going viral.
In order to get engaged leads, which is people who show interest in the stuff that you have to sell, then it means you have to show people who are not interested and get them interested. And so the question is, what is that bridge that goes between not interested and interested? You give them value. And you give them value, ideally, around a problem that you want to solve for them. Now, how you define the problem that you're going to solve gets into the nuance of how you create a lead magnet or offer. But you give yourself the opportunity to solve their problem, ideally, for very low risk, which is either very cheap or nothing at all. And then by doing that, you earn the most valuable thing you can have in business, which is trust. And then at that point, that's when the real conversation begins, and that's where monetization starts.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more, Hermosi. And it is about creating value. And when you create that value, people appreciate it. That's where the trust comes from. And that's why I don't like blind leads and blind advertising, because it doesn't perpetuate trust in you. Really, people are just out for the tool, the information, or whatever it is. And if you're not the one giving the tool and presenting it, then you're not building the trust factor from the very beginning. So let's be honest. Talk about the pain cycle for a second, because that's what we're all talking about. Most people posting online right now are stuck in what we call the hamster wheel. Could call it the hamster wheel of doom, because it seems like it never ends or we never get out of it. And the routine, you grind out a post or a video, you publish it, You refresh the page, check in every few hours, maybe even the next day, hoping that you're going to see a handful of likes, maybe shares, maybe comments, but it's like 1, 2 views, or 1, 2 maybe likes, and maybe 12 views. Does that sound familiar? It's disappointing. It's exhausting. you're running on caffeine and false hope. Pumping out content feels more like playing the lottery than it is running a business, and that's not fun. Shit's additional anxiety you don't need. Every week you're thinking, maybe this one will go viral. Maybe this one will finally get me some clients, some sales, or some signups. But here's the cruel joke. Even when you do hit viral, which hopefully some of you have, it usually changes nothing. A quick hit, maybe a small spike, but then things plateau back to where they were before. I know someone who had over 1 million views. Viral glory. I mean, we all get excited and everybody's showing everybody. But guess how many new clients they signed? That's right, 0. Because it was viral that didn't connect it to a funnel that lands on your calendar. Not a single one. That's like packing out Madison Square Gardens, giving away free discounted tickets, and with the amazing, incredible experience, people at the end of the event get up and walk out. They never buy concessions. They never buy merch. So in other words, you wasted a bunch of time and money hoping that it would generate additional sales, and it didn't. Very common, and not just in our industry. Let's cut to the next video.
Going viral is the biggest scam in this jungle. Millions of views, and you're still starving for clients.
I hacked through the jungle of content and found the golden fruit. It was a viral video with 1 million views. Cracked it open, 0 clients. Out here, views are just a mirage.
The only way out of this jungle is a map and a strategy that turns content into conversations, and conversations into clients.
I've been ranting about how important grabbing attention is for the last 2-3 months. But here's the truth. Nobody likes to admit, but attention alone doesn't pay the bills. It feels good, feeds our ego, right? Attention is the fuel, but if you don't have an engine, then you're just pouring gasoline all over the ground and praying that somehow a car appears. It doesn't work that way, and we want to help you put that together so that you can connect the two. And it's not just because you lack content or creativity or consistency. It's because you're missing the conversion bridge. That's what we really want to help you with. That's what we're going to get into on Friday's workshop, where we're going to walk you through that process and help you discover your own. And if you want to learn more about that and the complete series that we're teaching now, make sure you hit the like and subscribe and share with a colleague who would benefit from learning this content. But right now, people see your stuff, right? They like it. Maybe they binge it. Maybe your colleagues like it, share it. But then what? If there's no bridge that carries them from viewer to buyer, then it really doesn't matter. It's vanity. That bridge is a proper lead magnet. And I mean proper because that's the caveat, because there's way too many lead magnets that don't work. I'm just trying to think of a nicer way to say it. So not a white paper, not a blog article or a newsletter. I could think of a lot of more. Those are just, I'll leave it at that. I'm trying to be nice to the industry because we've struggled to innovate in this industry, and we're still doing marketing the way we did it 20 years ago. It's got to be something that people want and they feel like they need, and they only can get it from you. That's even better. right? If you don't figure this part out, you're basically a snake oil salesman that draws a huge crowd in the street. But once everybody figures out that the invention is really the invention of the world's best medicine cure-all for all sicknesses is really just a small bottle of whiskey with some food dye in it. And then once everybody figures that out, they all walk away. Yeah, let's avoid that. Let's avoid the bait and switch. But here's the good news. There are 3 simple types of lead magnets that we're going to get into that you can use starting tomorrow that do build the type of bridge that we're talking about that can put appointments on the calendar. 3 ways to finally turn random views into booked calls, new customers, or real sales without feeling like you're having to feed the algorithm and create a bunch of extra activity that you don't need to be doing in your business, right? Once you get these lead magnets in place, the hamster wheel will stop spinning and your content will stop being just content and finally becomes a system that will get results. All right. Now, I'd love to hear what's on your mind. That's why we go live, and I'm seeing comments scroll through here. See if I can find one. Oh, someone found one for me. Linda, if lead magnets are the bridge, how do I know which type is the right fit for my business? Linda, you're 1 or 2 segments too soon. So I'm going to answer that in 2 segments. And if I don't thoroughly answer your question, please ask it again, because that is a fantastic question. All right. Let's cut to the next video, and then we will.
Going viral without a conversion system is like owning a car with no wheels. You can rev the engine all you want, but you're not going anywhere. I had the content, the creativity, the consistency. People liked my stuff, binged my videos, and then disappeared. No bridge from viewer to buyer, just applause with an empty hat. The bridge is a lead magnet. 3 simple types can finally turn attention into book calls, clients, and real sales. Build the bridge, and suddenly your content drives.
It was a great question, Linda, and we're going to start to answer that question for you now. And so let's break down the elements and then introduce you to the 3 different types of lead magnets. All right. So you'll see that how upside down most of us have been in running content and how we need to flip it right side up. So here's a formula, and it's content to a lead magnet that's unique and valuable, to a lead capture, that's when you grab their information, and then this is also a missing piece, the pitch or sales pitch, which we're going to talk about next week, and then the appointment. Miss any one of these pieces and it all falls apart. Today we're talking about the lead magnet to lead capture, because that is a enormous broken piece where people love what we're putting out, but it's not generating leads. Then next week, we'll talk about how you have to introduce the pitch to the appointment. Just because you captured a lead doesn't mean it's going to turn into an appointment unless you incorporate the pitch. And we'll talk again. We'll cover that next week, so I don't want to spend too much time on that. But that's the machine. That's the strategy, the flow. And if you're missing the lead magnet, which is what we're talking about this week, then the whole thing falls apart. And quick side note, I see advisors struggling with their sales pitch. So that's why next week we're going to talk about the converting the lead into an appointment next week. So put it on your calendars, hit subscribe, and be reminded, because we'll get the lead magnet dialed in for you this week, and then we'll get the pitch dialed in for you next week. All right. Think of, just as I kind of wrap up this segment, and then we're going to cut to a video. I just want to kind of give it an analogy so that people get it. Think of what we're putting together here is like the simple plumbing of the sink. Okay, your content is the water that's like filling up the sink, right? And it's constantly running, and your opportunities are filling up in the sink. The problem is that if you don't have a pipe to drain the sink, right, then that's the pipe that draws people down to where you want them on your calendar. And without that connected piece, all you have is a huge mess to clean up in your house. We've got to make sure we have a proper funnel with all the proper pieces so that everything works the way that you want it to.
Most people's content strategy is upside down. They're pouring out content like crazy, but nothing's actually flowing where it should. Content is the water, appointments are the sink, the lead magnet is the pipe, and without it, nothing connects. You can dump all the water you want, but the sink stays bone dry. Fix: 3 lead magnets that actually work today. Not dusty PDFs no one cares about. These are real magnets that pull people in and carry them straight into your world.
Marie stole my analogy, except kind of flipped it around. Thanks, Marie. Great minds think alike. And for Linda's comment, here you go, Linda. We're about to jump into which type of lead magnet, and I'm going to go over 3 different types, and hopefully that answers your question. So the lead magnets that actually work today, 3 that I'm confident because I've observed it with the advisors we're working with now, having the absolute most success with these 3 different types of lead magnets. And not the tired old freebies, download my PDF that nobody cares about. I'm talking about lead magnets that grab people, hook them, and drag them across the bridge into your world. So type 1, or 3 types of lead magnets. So type 1, it's going to be AI tools and calculators. Now, I'm going to put a caveat on this. Okay, they must be unique. If you put a loan calculator on your website, it along with the other 500,000 loan calculators on every financial website, you're probably not going to be effective. It's got to be something that solves the problem that your product or service solves, and it gives them an evaluation of their problem and a reason to call you to see how to solve that problem with the information they got from the calculator. It's like giving somebody a really cool toy and that they can't stop playing around with. You can't resist clicking, typing, pressing buttons, that sort of thing. It's just human nature. It's what we do. Christmas morning, the kids stop opening their gifts because they're obsessed with one particular toy that they can't stop playing with. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. And when the results of your lead magnet solve a problem in your life, you're hooked. So that's the goal. Give you an example. A financial advisor drops let's do a debt freedom calculator. And I know there's a lot of those available too. So that's not all that unique. But just as an example, you type in your numbers and then it spits out your debt-free date. Now, that's interesting. And maybe feels good to somebody who's stressed out about being in debt. And what if the call to action when they get their number is, would you like to set up a strategy call to shave years off of your debt-free date? Now that can convert. That's the pitch. That's a sales pitch that then converts them to actually wanting to meet with you and not just take the information and run. It's not a PDF. I'm telling you, if you get this right, you got to match the tool to your product or service so that it assists in solving the problem that you are best at and that you feature as your greatest strength. It's the unique sales proposition that makes you who you are and why people come to you. The tools got to be deeply tied into that to draw them in to wanting to talk to you, the expert, the brand authority on solving this particular problem with your unique tools. Now, we're going to teach how to do this on Friday, which 8 a.m. Pacific. By the way, that's the workshop step by step, helping people build actual lead magnets and size people up to the right lead magnet or tool. And just a quick announcement. This Friday will be our last workshop. We are taking a break from the public workshop to launch a brand new private membership called the Sandbox. It's an exclusive community where AI creators and virtual assistants are going to be collaborating with financial advisors to master the art of AI-driven content to create lead magnets and sales docuseries to convert more leads. So this new community is being put together as a private membership. I think the URL is wealthvids.com/sandbox. Maybe we can put that in the chat and you can get on the wait list for that, because there are going to be a limit to, in this beta round, there's going to be 12 advisors, and then we're going to have 24 VAs compete to be a part of that group that will then be offered a job tied to an advisor who can then create the content for that advisor. We are super excited about this. It's attracting talent from all over the world, and it will help you create the types of lead magnets that we're talking about today. But enough of that. Let's get on to type 2, which the Sandbox kind of segues into, and that is edutainment. I've said it before, and that's entertainment and education combined, because we're in a day of in the days of limited attention, short attention. So we're going to help you try and develop binge-worthy packaging to your education. Think Netflix, not night school. Nobody's sneaking into the kitchen at midnight to read a PDF, but they are staying up all night, binge watching their favorite miniseries and sometimes documentaries. I know my wife loves crime documentaries, and my daughter. And you have to think of it in the same context of what draws you into being obsessed and going back to something that's maybe educational, but also very entertaining, and you can't help yourself. If you've ever binge watched a docuseries, you know what I'm talking about. And I did one, The Unauthorized History of Taxation, 5 20-minute episodes. I think I watched it all back to back to back to back because I got hooked. And that was on a business day when I should have been working. Confessions. All right. Give you an example. A branding coach creates a 3-part docuseries called, let's say, I don't know, From Unknown to Viral. Each episode teaches through storytelling, cliffhangers, and ends with book a strategy call to solve this particular problem. It's just a bad example, but it's an example. But it's not a boring sales funnel. That's the point, right? It's a show, and it entertains you and keeps you watching more. And Friday, we'll show you exactly how to structure one of these, and so that it doesn't just entertain, but it converts people into actual leads. All right, type 3. And that is books and workbooks. And I know books is a challenge because, well, AI's made it a lot easier, but to actually self-publish a book, there's a lot of work involved, a lot of skill involved, and could be a lot of cost involved if you don't know how to do it and you're trying, or unless you do it yourself, of course. Books instantly, as everybody knows for the last 4 or 5 decades, instantly give you authority and position you as a subject matter expert. Even if no one else makes it past chapter 1, you're now the expert, right? How many people have bought in books, and how many books have you guys grabbed as lead magnets and they're still sitting on your shelf? I have about 40 of them to my left right now. But it works, and that's why we keep doing it, right? But my favorite is workbooks. And it's like a calculator, but it's tangible in hand. And for a lot of us who are our niche market is boomers, that workbook may be even better than the calculator itself. It helps them walk through the process of calculating their own numbers, gives people a quick win, and keeps them engaged to walk through all the way to your offer. I don't need to give an example. I think you guys get it. And for sake of time, I'm going to skip over the example and just say, look, AI can give you what you're looking for. Join us on Friday. We'll show you how. But with AI, you can crank one of these things out in a matter of hours. It's really that simple with the right prompt, again, that we will help you with. All right. We've covered a lot, and now it's your turn. Let's see if we have a question, and hopefully I answered the previous question with this segment. James from Tampa. These sound exciting, but won't creating a docuseries or workbook take way too much time? Good question, James. No, with the proliferation of AI, it can be done in a matter of hours. A full docuseries could be a week, but we have the sandbox that you could go ahead and put your name on the wait list for, and we could match you up with a virtual assistant who can do the entire thing for you. You just have to come up with a creative idea, a pitch, and then we will turn it in the sandbox. We'll turn it into an actual docuseries for you. But again, join the wait list, because we do have a wait list. And if you think you're creative enough, we'll partner you with a VA to bring it to life. All right. That was a great question. Let's jump to the next video.
Let's be real. PDF freebies are dead. Nobody's staying up at night excited to download this stuff. The real game changers? Lead magnets people can't resist. Tools that feel like digital gold, binge-worthy mini docuseries, and workbooks that give instant wins. And the best part? You don't need to code. You don't need Hollywood. You just need the right system. Join us on this Friday's masterclass, where we'll break down all 3 lead magnet types and show you how to build them so your content finally converts.
So what are the 3 types? AI tools and calculators, edutainment, and books and workshops. That's what we're going to be talking about. That's your toolbox. And you don't need all 3 at once. You just need one that fits your style, your niche, your audience, your USP. We'll talk about all that on Friday. And when you plug in even one of these tools into your content, suddenly your videos aren't just entertainment for the algorithm. They're the front door to a real client getting system. No more hamster wheel, no more chasing views that don't matter. You'll have a bridge that carries attention straight through to appointments. And Friday, I'm going to show you every step that you need. No fluff or jargon or gatekeeping, just a practical walkthrough so you can finally stop making content and start making appointments. So you can, and I see that they're flashing the registration page to join us if you would like to not just be an observer, but you'd actually like to be in the workshop working on your lead magnet. All right, well, let's get real. Views don't pay rent. Likes don't put food on the table. And going viral without clients? Well, that's just digital charity work. Let's do something more valuable. Not that charity work isn't valuable, but for your business is not a charity. Your business is meant to make profit. So here's the deal. This Friday, I'm running that free masterclass. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to build a lead magnet, a killer workbook, binge-worthy series, whatever you can creatively come up with. So start writing down ideas and make sure you're ready so that you can walk away with something tangible that you can implement tomorrow, or well, the day after. So it'll be Monday. No more hamster wheel, guys. Let's get off. No more content treadmills. Just a system that actually gets clients on your calendar. Click the link, save your seat, show up live on Friday because the algorithm isn't cutting you a paycheck, but this system will. All right. I can't wait to help you finally break that hamster wheel and build your lead magnet and start turning views into real book calls Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific time. So until then, stay sharp, stay focused, and stop dancing for the algorithm. And I'll see you in the digital world.